they do, with an with an intention, with an intention to that 60% which the government offers to the different ministries in procurement. Yes, it's a very cold morning. The setup is going on, and the organizers are doing whatever it takes, their best to make sure that they put everything in place and order. As you can see right there in that tent, the people behind the expo, the private sector foundation Uganda is part of the organizers. It's a very, 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 very big event, powerful event into the world of business, and much more is expected. A lot of guests are expected to come and show up, and there's going to be a lot of sharing and learning, and this is going to enable the SMEs also find better procurement systems. Yes, other than the default that has been into the current systems they have been employing. Yes, set up the different SMEs. Yes, setting up, trying to market a product. With an aim, like I say, to tap into the 60% that the government gives to the ministries, which goes in procurement. Yes, so this is the environment. That's how it is, and we expect as the day goes by, the days, a lot of players are going to be coming. A majority have put their banners and posters, and probably they have gone to get more equipment to come and make their places look better and attractive. Yes, and the setting up is still going on. Yes, setting up is still. We've not been able to get people to talk to because currently majority are still setting up their premises to look better and attractive, since this is an opportunity that is being granted to them to tap into the 60% that it gives out to the ministries that goes into procurement. And yeah, so that's how the situation is right here at Kololo Independence Grounds. And at this very time, I think I should take you back to studio with Joram Paul Sonko. You're still watching Smart Means Business to Barigi. Let's get back to studio.
Very Andrew. Well, that one now, that PPDA happening at Kololo Airstrip. I think if you're an entrepreneur, these are chances you would never in life want to miss out on if you have at least got that. And, like you said, you couldn't get some of the people to speak to at the moment simply because almost everybody was actually busy. People, as you can definitely see, everyone is actually preparing to have their stalls ready. They can showcase. It's a 2-day expo that is happening today and tomorrow, and you'll be getting all those updates live here on 24 TV for the opportunities that will arise. And if you're an entrepreneur, still go in there and see different things. If you have time, 5,000 Ugandan shillings, you can move in there and see some of those particular things that are going to be showcased. Entrepreneurs are showcasing their goods and services, and you never know, things may be easier for you. Okay, now let's get into more of the daily monitor. Some there also more of the courses that are available at university this time around, and you can still go in there and apply to university. That is for students who have not yet applied for university. And so with the press review, we get into the SMB no comment, and this time around in the SMB no comment, also coming from the perspective of URBRA's at 10 years celebrations, we have Dr. Fred Muhumuza, and also the first Deputy Prime Minister, that is Right Kadaga, on their say after URBRA marked 10 years. But how is the future of the pension sector going to be shaped in the next years? This is no comment.
10 years have given us a legal framework, 10 years have given us a regulatory framework, 10 years have given us a strong institution by way of URBRA to regulate. Now the next 10 years, we are going to open up innovative ideas. How do we structure the pension sector to speak to the broader scope of the economy, to speak to the pensioners at the time when they retire? How do we innovate, not to wait for people to become and retire, but also meet their obligations? Coming out is most people use their pension benefits to build houses. How do we help those people to already build houses before they retire, so that by the time they retire, they are looking at other things? Many of them want to start a business after retirement. How do we help them to start the businesses even before they retire? So they are retiring into a business of the other scheme. But also there are many other people outside the formal sector who are running their businesses. How can NSSF help them to prepare for that retirement? So the next 10 years is going to be speaking to those kind of innovative ideas, new products on the market, some of which may require us to revisit the law. So that's going to be the main message that we are picking out of the first 10 years and then the next 10 years. The informal sector usually is one is a voluntary, has come up with a voluntary scheme because there you cannot enforce regulation, and we really don't want to use laws and regulations because those sometimes can be very constraining. So you want to allow people to voluntarily flow. So that's why there was like, can you present to them a value for the product that you have that speaks to their need so that they can buy into on their own. And that's what we want to do, because quite often we don't want to be too harsh on the informal sector, because the informal sector have a lot of vulnerabilities. You want them to still have the leverage. You cannot say every month you contribute. As and when you are able, make a contribution. But make that strong to them to know that it is positive for me to contribute. I have these benefits if I don't contribute, so that there is willingness to make that contribution, not by law, but because of the need and the proposition of them of that particular product they are buying into.
I'll celebrate 10 years of existence. Let me remind all Ugandans that old age is not an event. It is a milestone, a long journey from infancy and youthfulness. It is therefore important for everybody to prepare for this phase of life. Government will therefore continue to provide a favorable political, economic environment to enable everybody prepare for a good retirement. We should also continue to provide a regulatory and legal framework through URBRA to smoothly grow and guide this sector. We should endeavor to keep this senior to live an active life. For example, in the government parish model of transforming and involving all Ugandans in the money economy, they will have their percentage allocation, which should assist them undertake income-generating activities, such as poultry farming, with support supervision of their grandchildren. The Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority should innovate projects, activities that keep the retired citizens active, as well as enhancing their life expectancy and to enjoy a comfortable. I would like to thank the technical chairperson for International Organization of Pension Supervision, Mr. Kennedy, for graduation. Your presence is a vote of confidence in what URBRA and Uganda are doing to cater for our senior citizens. I also wish to congratulate the board of directors and staff of URBRA who have, in the last 10 years, steered this institution to significant levels of success. I strongly believe that this symposium has enabled everybody to not only celebrate the 10 years of existence, but also reflect on how best to grow URBRA in the coming 10 years. Together, let us continue working to alleviate old age among all our citizens. So let me take the opportunity to thank the members of Parliament. You know, in Parliament, there are the juicy bills and the dry bills. This was the dry one. Where only the technical people keep on contributing. The others are either spectating or just... So I want to thank the members of Parliament for that, because we delivered, and this is now the product. Thank you so much. Have a good day. For God and my country.
Events of what was happening yesterday as URBRA was marking 10 years in Uganda in regards to surveillance and showing them and giving them the importance and reminding them of the importance of ensuring you get to understand the beauty of saving for your retirement age at a time when you cannot compete for jobs at 50 with a 23, 25-year-old, at a time when you're still seeking for job opportunities at that age. That is something that URBRA and NSSF are fighting, and more so URBRA, Ugandans and the working class, that there is going to be a time when you do not have a job, or maybe you no longer have energy to do that same job and your time is up for retirement. Then what next for you? What will you do in those particular times when you no longer have anything to do? So when you cannot compete with the energetic young men or the energetic young women, energetic young people. What will you do? You always have to look for solutions, and the only best way to do so is to look for those solutions at an early age, or make sure look for a solution and strike it immediately. If you have chance to save, to invest money somewhere, or you have the little, open up a savings scheme, whether you're employed or you are self-employed, to ensure that be a time when you don't have that job again. What will happen when you cannot take care of yourself, when you have children to look after, they have school and all those things. So these are some things that the pension sector is trying to scale up for Ugandans, to create a picture that saving for retirement is really vital and really crucial for you and for the entire growth of yourself as a human being. Now, this is completely off track, because there's going to be a time when the world is no longer up to you, but it is you looking up to yourself, when no other person is going to come to bail you out, you in those times of retirement. Because we want to see people who retire happily, not retiring with regrets at the end of it all. When you've used your youthful state, at a time when you could save some money or put some money into good use, you wasted it into something else. And when you look age out and your fellows are actually retiring better than you are, then you start regretting, and all that creates different challenges for you in your old age. It is better to retire happily and retire with something to remind yourself of the hard work you passed through during your youthful stage. And that is the push that has actually been ongoing. And you can invest your money somewhere. You can save for your investment. You can save for later consumption, but maybe putting it into use later on, because life after your work is also some hard life. It's just like you moving into unemployment again, and this time around looking for food, looking for certain necessities. But remember, you're having less energy to continue doing the same things that you were doing. All right, now we take a break. We do return with our topic of discussion, and later on we shall still be linking up with Baride Andrew to ask what is on ground at Kololo.